Good afternoon, dear students. Hope every one of you are doing great over there, and I hope you all are fit and fine as well. Well, we are going to have the class of science, and it is for grade 5 students. Well, dear students, if you remember, we had discussed on vertebrates, their characteristics and their examples in our previous class. Do you remember? We discussed on vertebrate animals, their 5 classes along with their distinguishing characters and their examples in our previous class. So, can you recall into how many classes are vertebrates divided into? Okay, vertebrates, they are divided into 5 classes. They are Pisces, Amphibia, Reptilia, Apes and Mammals. Am I correct? Yes, we had discussed on those 5 classes of vertebrates, the characteristics like where do they live, what do they breathe with, whether they lay eggs or they give birth directly, whether they are warm-blooded or cold-blooded. These all were discussed in our previous class. Now today, as you have already seen the topic here, we are going to discuss on invertebrate animals. Vertebrates we discussed already. Today we are going to have discussion on invertebrates. Well, now can you tell me what are invertebrates? Invertebrates, they are the animals that do not have backbone or they lack vertebral columns. Okay, let me repeat it again. Invertebrates are the animals that do not have backbone or they lack vertebral column. Backbone, it is the bone that lies backside of our body from the level of our neck to the level of our waist. That is backbone. Okay, and some of the features of invertebrates include, first feature according to the definition itself, they do not have backbone or vertebral column. Second is they may be multicellular or unicellular. See the terms here, unicellular, multicellular. Unicellular means the animals that are made up of single cell, and multicellular means the animals that are made up of many cells. So, invertebrates, some of them they may be multicellular and some of them they may be unicellular as well. And next is they have less developed body. The body is less developed. The organs and systems are less developed in invertebrates. Similarly, they may have hard protective covering in their body like snail, beetle, crab. Their body is covered with hard protective covering. Okay, and they may be found in land, water as well as in air also. Butterflies, houseflies, do they fly or not? Yes, they do. So, invertebrates, they may be found on land, water as well as in air also. Okay, and unicellular, multicellular, the terms are here, but there are also other terms like locomotion, appendages. These terms will also come in my explanation. Okay, locomotion, it means the movement. The animals move, right? The movement, how do they move? That is locomotion. And appendages means the organs that help in movement or that help in catching something. Those are appendages. Alright, let me go through these terms again. Unicellular, made up of single cell. Multicellular, made up of many cells. Locomotion means to move, movement. Okay, that is locomotion. Appendages, the organs that help in movement or that help in catching something. Those are appendages. Alright, we were on the topic invertebrates and we discussed some of the characteristics, the major characteristics of invertebrates as well. Now, invertebrates, they are divided into 9 phylums. On the basis of structure and development of their body, invertebrates are divided into 9 phylums or 9 groups. Now, we need to remember the name of those phylums, okay? There are 9 phylums in invertebrates and they are, first one, Protozoa. It's Protozoa. Second, Porifera. Porifera is the second phylum of invertebrates. Third one is Coelenterata. Coelenterata. Number 4, Platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes, number 4. Number 5, it's Aschelminthes or Nemaschelminthes. Similarly, 6th one is Annelida. 7th, Arthropoda. 8th, it's Mollusca. And finally, the 9th phylum of invertebrate is Echinodermata. Well, then, in today's class, we are going to discuss all these 9 phylums along with their characteristics and examples. Alright? Well, now you need to be ready. The terms in somewhat may be difficult for you, may be new for you. The examples, they may be somewhat new for you, but try to note it down so that it will be easier for you, okay? Now, moving on to the first class of invertebrates, that is Protozoa. The first class, Protozoa. Its characteristics are the unicellular and microscopic animals are included in this phylum, that is phylum Protozoa. In Protozoa, the unicellular animals and multicellular animals falls. Unicellular, we have already told, they are the animals with single cell, and microscopic, the animals that can be viewed only with the help of microscope. They cannot be seen with our naked eyes, okay? So, the animals, unicellular and microscopic animals fall under phylum Protozoa, and they live in water. They live in water. In the similar way, we have already discussed locomotion also. The locomotion is done with the help of pseudopodia, cilia or flagella. Okay, pseudopodia, cilia and flagella are the locomotory organs in phylum Protozoa. And some of the animals, they may cause disease also, like Entomova histolytica, it causes dysentery in animals. Okay, then the examples of the animals of this phylum includes amoeba, paramecium, euglena, etc. Okay, in amoeba, locomotion is done with the help of pseudopodia. Pseudopodia is the locomotory organ in amoeba. Similarly, cilia, it is the locomotory organ in paramecium, and flagella, it is the locomotory organ in euglena. Okay, this is only the group that consists of unicellular animals. Remember, okay, Protozoa, the protozoans are unicellular in nature. A single cell directs all the activities of these animals. Okay. Now, similarly, let's move on to phylum Porifera. That is the second phylum, that is phylum Porifera. The animals are multicellular. The animals of Porifera are multicellular, and they have small pores on their bodies. Those small pores are called ostia. What are the small pores called? The small pores in the bodies of Porifera is called ostia, and they do also have a large opening at the top. The large opening in the body of Porifera is called osculum. Let me repeat these two terms again: ostia, osculum. The small pores on the bodies of these animals, on the bodies of Porifera, is called ostia, and the large opening at the top of their body, it is called osculum. Okay? And these animals, they are fixed animals, that is, they do not move. They are fixed animals, okay? They do not move. So, locomotory organs are also absent in these animals. Since they do not move, they do not need any organs for locomotion. For example, cycone, sponge, spongilla, these are the examples of animals of Porifera. Alright, we have already discussed two phylums. Now, moving on to the third phylum, that is phylum Coelenterata. The animals of this phylum are also multicellular in nature, that is, they are made up of many cells and they have hollow body. They have hollow body. Hollow means empty, empty inside, okay, nothing is there. And these animals, they are found in fresh water as well as in sea water also. Some are found in fresh water and some are found in sea water. And they may also be, some of the animals, they are fixed, whereas some of them, they are free floating animals. Some are fixed, whereas some are free floating animals. In fixed animals, there is no locomotory organ or they do not perform locomotion, but in free floating animals, they do have locomotory organs. They have tentacles for locomotion as well as for catching the prey as well as for catching the food, catching the prey. Tentacles help the animals for locomotion as well as for catching the prey. Alright, and the example includes jellyfish, hydra, sea anemone, etc. Well, now let's move on to the fourth phylum, that is phylum Platyhelminthes. Okay, what sort of animals are included in Platyhelminthes? I have already told in phylum Protozoa only unicellular animals are included. That means all the other phylums, they have multicellular animals. In the similar way, Platyhelminthes also multicellular animals are included in this phylum as well. And they have flat type of body. The animals of Platyhelminthes, they have flat body and they are multicellular. Also, most of the animals, they are parasitic in nature. What means parasitic? The animals that depend on other animals for their food. Well, here these animals, they are found inside the bodies of other animals. Like some of them are found in the bodies of humans, cows, buffaloes, goats, etc. And also they are also found in the liver of sheep. They are also found in the liver of sheep. And they have incomplete alimentary canal. That is, they have mouth but they do not have anus. Okay, they have incomplete alimentary canal. And the example of this phylum includes liver fluke, planaria, tapeworm, etc. Okay, here these animals, as they have flat type of body, the organisms, the animals are also called flatworms. Okay, the animals of this group are also called flatworms. Liver fluke, tapeworm, planaria, they all have flat type of body. Understood? Now let's move on to next phylum, that is phylum Aschelminthes or Nemaschelminthes. Okay, let's discuss on its characteristics now. The animals are also multicellular. The animals of this phylum are also multicellular. They have long, narrow and cylindrical body. Cylindrical, shaped like a cylinder, that is round. So the animals are also called roundworms. Okay, and they are also parasitic in nature. Some of them, they are also parasitic in nature, and they have complete alimentary canal. They have mouth as well as they have anus as well. In their bodies, they have mouth as well as anus as well. In Platyhelminthes, the alimentary canal was incomplete. They had mouth but no anus. But in Nemaschelminthes, they have mouth as well as anus, so that their alimentary canal is complete. And talking about male and females, male and females are also separated in Nemaschelminthes, that is male and female can be easily distinguished. Okay. The example of animals of this phylum includes roundworm, hookworm, pinworm, etc. Okay. Let me repeat some of the characteristics again of Nemaschelminthes. They have long, narrow and cylindrical bodies, that is round body, so they are also called roundworms. Male and female can be easily distinguished. Also, they have complete alimentary canal. Now, till here we have learned somewhat three important things. Okay, protozoa, it includes only unicellular animals, and the animals of Platyhelminthes also are called flatworms because they have flat type of body, and Nemaschelminthes, they have round type of body, so they are also called roundworms. All right. Now let's move on to sixth phylum, that is phylum Annelida. What sort of animals may be included in Annelida? Well, they are also multicellular animals, and their body is soft, cylindrical and segmented. Segmented means that is divided into equal parts. Okay, that is divided into equal parts is called segmented. And they may be found in water as well as in moist soil as well. They may be found in water as well as in moist soil. And they have spine-like setae for locomotion. That is, they move with the help of setae. S-E-T-A-E, setae. Okay. And some of the animals, they are useful as well as some are harmful to us. Like earthworm, it is also included in the same class, that is Annelida. It is very useful for the farmers. It makes soil loose, isn't it? Talking about the next characteristics, both male and female reproductive organs are found in the same body. Both male and female reproductive organs are found in the same body of these animals. That is, male and female, they are not distinguished. Okay. They also have complete alimentary canal. That is, they also have both mouth and anus. And the examples of the animals of this group includes leech, earthworm, etc. Leech, earthworm, they are included in the phylum Annelida. Well, now let's move on to next phylum, that is seventh, Arthropoda. Well, you need to remember something very important here. Okay. Arthropoda, it is the largest group of invertebrate animals. That means many of the animals are included in Arthropoda. Many of the invertebrates falls in Arthropoda. What might be the characteristics of Arthropoda then? The animals of this phylum, they have jointed appendages. I have already told appendages means the organs that help in movement or that helps in catching something. Those are appendages, okay? And most of them, they also have wings to fly. Like take for example, butterfly. Does it have wings or not? Yes. So they also have wings to fly. The body, it is divided into head, thorax, abdomen. And they have 3 or more pair of jointed legs to walk also. Although they have wings, they also have 3 or more pair of jointed legs to walk, okay? And they also have antennae on their body that act as sensor to feel. They can feel with the help of antennae present on their bodies, because antennae acts as sensors for them. Alright, and the example of this group includes, of this phylum includes spider, butterfly, crab, scorpion, etc. Okay. Now, dear students, let's move on to the 8th phylum, that is phylum Mollusca. Mollusca are also multicellular in nature and they have soft body. They have soft body. If we try to feel their body, it's very soft. They have muscular feet to move. They move with the help of muscular feet. So, the locomotory organ in mollusca animals is muscular feet. Some of them, they are aquatic and some are terrestrial as well. And they also have hard shell in their bodies. The example includes snail, slug, etc. Okay. Now, finally, let's move on to the last phylum, that is phylum Echinodermata. Echinodermata are also multicellular in nature. Their body is covered by hard spines and they move with the help of 2 feet. They have 2 feet for locomotion. And they are marine in nature. They are marine, okay. Marine means the animals or plants that are found in sea water. Okay, then the examples of echinoderms include starfish, sea cucumber, sea urchin, etc. Well, we discussed all 9 phylums of invertebrates in today's class. Hope you have noted down the important points and important examples as well. So, this much for today. We will again meet in other classes with new topics. Thank you for today.